Almost to school. Friday, and it's almost summer break. How much time do you have left?
I have
6 days.
Well, I have school Monday, then. Well, I have school Monday, and then we have our Philly trip. Then I have Friday off. Then you have Monday off. Then Tuesday I graduate.
Oh my goodness. So it's almost summer.
So like a week and a little.
Summer. So I didn't want to make my video yesterday, and I think I didn't talk enough about Grand Slam Dio, and didn't get to obviously Woodmere Betcha hadn't raced yet. But I did want to talk with Mark. It's always nice to. It was a surprise. I didn't know. It wasn't meant that way, but I didn't realize that Mark was flying out of Logan to go to the Meadows today, or he would have been driving. Man, I had money. I was just going to Uber back to the track, and then I'm angry after the race for no particular reason. The horse raced good, and I don't think I drove him bad. Not getting in front of Bruce Ranger at the start cost me the race, but I could see it transpiring. It just didn't seem like a sense of urgency at the time. I was more worried about what was going on up ahead of me and how the race was going to unfold, and I was happy at that moment. Just everything would have been so much different if I had just got in front of him off the car. Anyway, not the end of the world. It is what it is. With respect to Arrow, I thought he raced very well and got interfered with coming out of the last turn, and still trotted 54 flat, turning into a pretty nice colt. Momento Mory, as I said yesterday, I talked a lot about it. For my partners in Momento Mory, guys, you're going to have to understand, we're trying our best to manage the start of his stake season. It's a long, grueling season. And I just want to make sure... Okay, relax, Ollie. Put it back there, sweetie. I just want to make sure that we get off on the right foot, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I want to make sure that Momento Mory is gaining weight, is feeling good. Yesterday was not a good trip for him. Was it the track? Was it the fact that he made that, he put a little step in leaving the gate, and Mr. Randall just took him back to last? It could have been a lot of things. But it's a long summer, and I want everybody to understand that. Of course, we want to just come charging out of the gate and win everything. But we all know deep down it doesn't work that way. If I give you a schedule of 16 to 18 races this year from Momento Mory, and he does well in 13 of them, I think we'd all be very happy with that. Can't do good every week. It was a bit of a mixed up race, and with a driver that just didn't know the horse, and that's not Mr. Randall's fault. I went there with every intention of racing 2 divisions, and instead we ended up with 1 big division. So, just a note to all my partners on Mory: just relax, all right? And it's not that anybody's overreacting or getting upset, but just relax. It's a long season. Thank you. It's a long season, and we'll get Mory squared away. Part of that would be, and the biggest part of that is managing him properly. And I think that goes back to me wanting to race him in the Excelsior Series his next start. It's not me saying all of a sudden we had a world record holder and now he's a grassroots type horse. No, what it's saying is, and Mark was 100% right yesterday, you're going to see a lot of horses that are fast, big horses come out of the woodwork and go to Vernon, prepping for the summer. Go ahead and prep. We're not going to use our horse to prep yours. We'll race you at Yonkers. You want to race at Yonkers? Batavia, Monticello, Buffalo, even Tioga. Be happy to. But at Vernon, where it's going to be a bit of a smoke show, go ahead and smoke. We're just going to race in the Excelsior Series, and I think that makes all the sense in the world. Mark can drive the horse then for sure. He'll have Corinchuk in the Sire Stakes, and I think Mory measures up very, very well with Corinchuk. But I don't think we need to race on that big track with that faster mile. That's my take on Mory. Now we got to rewind to the start of the day. Our first horse of the day was Grand Slam Dio. Filly raced out of her mind, and she didn't race out of her mind. She got better every week. I didn't see the line yesterday. Addie Bear. Yeah, don't squeeze the oranges. No, you already poked a hole in it. Look, what are you doing?
Oh, it's deflated.
It wasn't deflated. It's not a balloon. It's a mandarin.
Deflated orange.
Grand Slam Dio every week gets better. And Ronnie just said to Tim after, he said, I just gave I just thought that the horse on the front couldn't go a mile and 56. I was just going to move her and drop by him. Is what I thought. I didn't see that mile coming. It certainly wasn't. Hey, it certainly wasn't apparent that the horse on the front could trot in 56 off his lines, and he put her in a spot to trot in 57 and win the race, and she would have if they went in 57. She trotted in 56 and 3, 56 and 4, something like that, but raced very, very good, and every week she gets better. Again, this is a horse with top pedigree that is now advancing. Trotted in 57, 57, 56, and there's no reason why she can't go faster and faster. There shouldn't be, with her pedigree, there shouldn't be a depth problem. There doesn't appear to be a ceiling. It's just confidence. And it is starting to grow. So in a very, very important part of her career, that second, probably not the end of the world yesterday. She gets to race in there one more time. So Grand Slam deal was great. Captain Incredible was incredible. That was, I watched that race 5 times yesterday. And you could see he was still scrubbing at his knees, and that will continue until he starts to grow up a little bit, fill out, sound up. You'll start to see that dissipate and dissipate. We'll probably, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, we're probably going to see his best work done much later in his 3-year-old season, and quite possibly his 4-year-old season. This isn't a one-and-done type horse for us. This is a horse that we bought to be a long-term piece in our stable. Just 1 second. All right, guys, love you. Have a good day. Jump out, sweetheart. Okay, jump out. Jump over there. Here you go, sweetie. Have a good day. How are you, ma'am? Love you. Bye-bye. So, with respect to Grand Slam deal, we'd already moved on to Captain Incredible. With respect to Captain Incredible, man, just a very, very good mile, but a professional mile, right? Again, I was very conservative with him his first start. I know how much we schooled him. I know how much he qualified. I knew what he was probably ready to do, but I didn't want to push him, right? I wanted him to want to do it himself, and I wanted him to be strong and confident in doing it. And I was surprised by his level of confidence last week, and not surprised yesterday, but I guess not completely surprised yesterday, but at the same token, shocked how easy he did it. And I guess that was the sentiment that Dave Pallone was trying to get through to Tim, was that I don't think this horse understands how fast he just went and how easy he did it. If you watch Dave Pallone's body language in the close-up finishing up the mile, his hands are at the front of the buckles, right? So he's never even released the bit from the horse's mouth the whole way. His hands are still at the front of the buckles of the handholds. The earplugs are squarely in his ears. He has not asked him to do anything more than the horse was happy to do, and he paced the last half in 55 and a piece, last quarter 27 and 2, something like that. That's a serious animal, serious animal, and a horse that we are going to have a lot of fun with. But again, not perfect. You have to be able to manage him. And I touched on that with Mark yesterday also, right? I may have misspoken. I know in Ohio, you have to race in 2 sire stakes to make the final now. But it was brought to my attention last night by no one. Shockingly, Greg picked up on it. He said, Anthony, Memory and Imagination raced in 1 sire stake and raced in the Consolation. That got me to thinking. It may just be Ohio. That may not be the rule in Pennsylvania. So I'll check into that a little bit more, but Greg might be very right. Not that I'm overly concerned about that, but it is just another door that we can open later on in the summer. If I'm going to be completely truthful with everybody, my focus right now is the Adios for this colt. I think he clearly, you can't watch this race and say, I just don't think he's good enough. He looks like a freak. Are we going to be able to manage him properly? Are we going to be able to keep him sound? Are we going to be able to race him? And this isn't a lame horse, but a horse that is that fast, that puts that much torque on that big of a body, there's not going to be any wrinkles at that speed, right? There's going to be minor injuries. So we need to do our best to manage him and say, okay, this is how we're going to approach this race. This is how we're going to approach that race, and move on with Captain Incredible. I was thoroughly pleased with what I saw from him yesterday, and it just allows us to expand our horizons with, as I said, with respect to Captain Incredible. And then, we went to Plain Ridge, and I don't want to continue to beat that drum. I was frustrated was the term. Here I have the favorite in the Bunker Hill. I'm happy that we didn't mix it up the first 3/8 of the mile with those guys. I knew they were going to. Two horses I could lead from the outside. I watched the body language of Aaron Merriman's horse. He was loose yesterday, completely frothed up going to the gate. There was going to be no retreat coming off the car. All I had to do was get placed. And if I had just a hair more sense of urgency and get in front of Bruce Ranger, I think I win the Bunker Hill yesterday. Instead, I ended up beat 4 lengths and finished 5th, interfered with, which I don't see the eye on the program, but whatever. Definitely interfered with coming out of the last turn. So it's just the way it is. And Momento Mory, as I said, just patience is needed. I know there's a lot of people that just want to see him go out and win. Long old summer in New York, right? We want Momento Mory to stay happy going to the track, and we'll get him squared away in no time. I think a big piece of that will be, we have 11 days to the next race. I said we were going to send the horse to Race Nicker. I spoke to Steve, a couple other people, and just thinking about it, are we really going to ship him to somewhere else, to a new trainer, have him train him, then ship him all the way to Vernon? Why don't we just leave the horse with Mr. and Mrs. Flanders? Let the horse get turned out for a few days, jog him up, train him 4 or 5 days out in 2 minutes, 2-1, and he'll be ready to rock for the Excelsior at Vernon. That would be the smart play. That would be the smart play. So, I mean, part of putting all of this together, when you're talking about a stake season like Mory's in all over New York, there is a certain degree of fluidity, right, to this stake season and to this calendar. And I'm trying my best to assess, reassess, and then make a decision days or weeks in advance. And that's what we're going to do with him. That's what we did yesterday. And part of that is talking it out loud, or whether it be with Mark in private, out loud with you in the video, or just to myself sometimes on a car ride down the road. So I think I'm happy with the way things turned out, or things will turn out with respect to Momento Mory. But yesterday, listen, you can see what took place, right? That's not Momento Mory. It wasn't. And whether it be the track or the trip or what, I still tried him 54 and a piece, and he's coming into what will be the Excelsior Series with a pretty snappy 57 in the mud, 27 on the end of it. Prep race 3 weeks ago at the Meadows, then second in 54 at the Meadows, and now trotting in 54 and 3 in Plainridge. Coming into Vernon should be just fine. Now, some fireworks at the end of the night. Man, I didn't really know what to expect. I haven't seen Truro Raceway since I was 16 years old. And, those guys just, same as Northside Downs, they just, Sydney and all over the Maritimes got to claw to continue to keep racing going. And I know how dedicated the people are at Truro, Nova Scotia, to have their racetrack still going and have the stuff that they have. And I didn't realize that there was a major stake race there last night until I saw the purse. $13,000 they went for last night, and Woodmere Betcha, I don't believe, was the favorite in any stretch of the imagination. Cleared to the front of the quarter, and a commanding victory. Mike McGuigan, Barney's son. I've known Mike McGuigan. He's a little bit younger than me. I've known Mike McGuigan since he was old enough to walk. Right? I've known his entire family my whole life. These are people with deep roots in my life. The McGuigan family, Barney and Donna and Mike and Billy. These are people I've known my entire life. And when I say my entire life, I don't mean my entire life in racing. I mean my entire life on planet Earth. And to have Mike win with that horse last night was great. So great job by him. Jamie Smith, you guys hear me talk about Jamie, how close we are as friends. We are. Jamie Smith and I have been friends since I was really, really young. And it's always nice to see long-time friends doing well, especially with our horses. So a great job by Jamie Smith, a great job by Mike McGuigan, and Woodmere Betcha certainly looked fantastic last night. 55 over Truro, a big mile for her. So congratulations to them. Thank you. They're really cracking down on the gate here. So that was yesterday. Today I'm going to, a little tricky, just the timing. Ava told me that she had danced and it was going to potentially go to 5:30. I'm going to be in a big rush to make it to Scioto Downs tonight on time. So we have Manhattan Money this afternoon at the Meadows. Now, I did not want to go over to the Meadows because I got a lot going on here. Today it was on I only had a couple of drives. One of them was Manhattan Money. I wanted to make sure that I made it back over here to get Ava over to her dance competition thing and then grab the kids. Amy, a well-deserved, I know she doesn't want to go home this afternoon, but I'm going to have to kick her out of the house. She's going to a comedy show with her friends in Ontario she hasn't seen for a while. And as I had to say to my daughter today, you know, Amy is the salt of the earth, first off, if you guys know that. I'm sure you do. She wakes up every day around 5:30, 6 o'clock, goes to the barn, works with the horses, jogs and trains the horses, then goes home, you know, works out or gets freshened up, and then goes to either her or I pick the kids up at school, and then we'll have baseball, dance, gymnastics, something over that. Amy's day starts pretty well every day at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and who knows when it ends. It could be 7, it could be 8, it could be 9, and that's pretty much our days every single day. And you know, it's not like we have friends. Obviously, I have lots of people that I call friends. With people, you know, in this industry especially, and not with us, but it's not like I have people over to the house for dinner on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening or a middle of the week. We go out with friends. It just doesn't happen. So, you know, some of Amy's very good friends are going to a comedy show in Ontario this week, and she's going. So I told her, I'll take care of the kids and the horses and stuff. Go to Ontario, hang out with your friends, and make sure you're back here Sunday. No, it just, sometimes we all need a rest, right? And Amy is certainly not a robot. So I wanted to make sure that she took the afternoon off. So I took the afternoon off to make sure everything ran smoothly here. A little tricky getting Ava from dance and then getting to Scioto Downs on time, but I'll endeavor. I'll get that done. And then we're done for the evening. Now tomorrow, I booked off the first part of the card. Somebody asked me, well, why would you book off some of the horses and not the other ones? Well, I wanted to make sure I was there for Spitfire Overseas. That was number one. I also wanted to make sure that I'm there for Ollie's first baseball game tomorrow. It's a tournament, so I want to see him play tomorrow morning. Then I'm going to go to the Meadows, then I'm going to come back. I'm going to catch the latter part, if I'm lucky, of his second game, and that will be his Saturday. Now, tomorrow night I race... I'm not racing tomorrow night. I'm just racing tomorrow afternoon. My day is done at 3:30, which is great. As I said, I'll catch the end of Ollie's baseball game, and then maybe the kids and I will go out to dinner tomorrow night. I'm going to go with a couple of babies this morning just to make sure that everything is still okay in that regard. But let's see what we have. Manhattan Money, Looks Like Money, and Yo Mister will race tonight. We have horses arriving over here also. I made a video yesterday and told everybody Speed of Sound was scratched, and the stupid video didn't load. I had to reload it. I think you didn't even get the video update until she was supposed to race, I think. So my apologies to all my partners in that regard. She was a little sick. She's on her way over here. She was fine to truck. That was my biggest thing. Certainly didn't need to race her. Gave her some fluids, some Banamine. I said, if everything's okay, put her on the truck for today. So her, Oh He'll Know, Foxy Seaside, those horses are on their way over here right now and are going to race this weekend. But for now, today we have Manhattan Money 105. He races. Looks Like Money 802. Yo Mister tonight. Tomorrow we got a busy day, but just a frustrating day of draws. 3-point blue chip Drew Good. He's going to be driven by Mike Wilder tomorrow. There's Dr. Doolittle, or Captain Doolittle. Tenacious Hanover is going to race. Brady Brown's going to race him because that's the earlier part of the card. Now, just after that, I'm going to be there in time to race Patrick the Piranha and Spitfire Overseas. A little side note, I have been in contact with, many of you have heard me talk about Eric. Now, Eric D'Souza is the builder of thestableca.com. That entire site was built by him. He's ran the back end of the stable for a number of years. Good friend. Always has a couple of horses with us, 1 or 2 horses. And lives in Massachusetts, closer to Maine. and his friend Ryan Barry is a trainer in Maine. Said, I know they don't race for as much, but would you have any horses to race out in Maine? My initial response was no, I don't think so. But actually we do. They sent me some late closers that are going to run over the next 5-6 weeks that are going to race for $8,000 to $12,000. And Patrick LaPrana actually fits some classes out there. And if we're going to race, I know he's picked to win going for 7,700, I believe, tomorrow. 7,700 he races for tomorrow, and he's picked to win. But then he's going to be up a class where it's going to be a little tougher, and he's only going to race for 8 or 10. So we may as well, again, we're looking at that big fish in a small pond type thing. I believe I'm just going to send Patrick LaPrana out to Maine to race Maine, and he may find his way to Plain Ridge once in a while also. We're going to race Patrick out in Maine for the next little bit. It'll be an easier summer for him too. He's coming in pacing in 50 twice, so I would say he would fit that bill of big fish in a small pond, but he's not going to be the big fish at Scioto. He's not going to be the big fish at the Meadows anymore. He's not going to be the big fish at Northfield Park. And since he's going to race for, I would say, 80% of the money he's going to race for purse-wise here as he there as he would here, and B, have 50% better chance to 50% better chance to that was Amy 50% better chance to win. I would think that would be the place for him to go. Now, whether he works his way through the conditions, and hopefully they have an open he can do, and if they don't fill an open at Cumberland or Bangor, he can make his way up to Plain Ridge and race where he historically was a very good horse. So that's my plan right now with Patrick LaPrana. Ryan Barry will drive him. I say Walter Case, I never really knew Walter that well when he was racing. He come up to me yesterday and we chatted for about 25 minutes just about the horses. The guy was a giant when I was a kid. We didn't really cross paths. Walter Case was Walter Case when I was just starting to get my license. So everybody watched Walter Case. He was a phenomenal driver. Had his demons, had his issues. I'm sure if you follow racing, you know that. But still a very good horseman. I can't get over how good Uncle Danny looks. I wish I had just turned the camera a second ago. Jogging with an open bridle like an aged horse, and he just looks like an absolute beast. That's how you want to see a horse look as you're heading into the summer. We do our best to make them all look like that. That horse looks like $1 million. So it was a great conversation with Walter, and I told him we were sending horses to Maine. I don't know if he'll end up driving Patrick LaPrana or not, but he seemed very interested, and it was nice. It was nice to chat with him, right? So that's Patrick. Spitfire Overseas is the reason I'm going to the Meadows tomorrow. He's 2-1, but it's a salty enough crew, and I want to see him do good there tomorrow. If he does well there tomorrow, now we have another problem. Now we have 2 horses that will fit the open. Looks like money depending on how he does. He's 9-2. He's not 3-2. He's not a big favorite. They're going to go in 52. So I'm curious to see how Looks Like Money is going to race at Scioto Downs tonight also. Because we have horses to race in a number of places. Trosa races tonight, had a week off, still a little mucus, a little blood showing in there, so tonight he's not on his A game because he missed a week and he's not on perfect form, but we'll see how he races tonight. And then just a disaster of draws. JK Victory 9-hole 15-1. Phil Houdon gonna need some luck there. Chicago Hall 10-hole with Jody. That's a frustrating draw going for 130,000. Man, we started our week with one of the early morning favorites and ended up being the favorite with Arrowhead Hanover. It didn't work out. He raced good, but it didn't work out. Now we got Chicago Hall, who is not the favorite and would not have been the favorite, but would have been a player, a serious player from 4 or 5. Now, I can tell you what's going to happen. They're going to say go, and Jody's going to cross him right over near the front tonight. I cannot imagine he would take him back. What he does after that, I don't know. He's not fast enough to overpower those colts in the SBOA, but he is fast enough to be a player. So if he can get away cleanly, get him settled in a hole, who knows, maybe we'll get a chunk of money. That would be my hope. Anyway, Rock Shining Star, where'd he draw? 3, not bad. 8-1 with Luke Hanners driving. And then Resolve Indeed, we couldn't get her in the non-winners of 2 last week because what's the date on this too? May 17th, 9 days later, okay. Because of her Lasix times. It's 14 clear days, 14 days in Ontario. She could not race in the fillies now, where's the 2. Didn't matter. She's picked to win. So she's got a class. Austin Sorry racing her tonight at Flamborough Downs. Tomorrow, Sunday, a big day for us. Save America, I'm going to have to duck him. You know that. You know, he tied up last week. Jason's been working with him all week. It's not an easy class anyway, but when you're tying up, it's almost impossible. Is that Rico Tubbs? Is that Rico Tubbs?
Yes, sir.
He looks good too. Good. Rose Run Alexander's in a tough spot. I don't really know if she's a Buckeye filly, but we'll try and get some money with her. Gorgeous Package is 3-1. I don't know who could possibly be picked lower than her. Filly's coming off a break in the second in 53, and she trained very, very good. Very, very good here. Also, Foxy Seaside, just the question mark is, can she get around Northfield cleanly? 5-2, pick to win. We'll all find out together on Sunday, and then we close out the card with Greatest Ending. And one might argue that Greatest Ending probably went one of the best races he's ever gone for us. Sure, he won in Plain Ridge, and he's had moments where he won in 53, but has he ever looked that good coming first over in 52? Pacing in 53? I don't think so. I think the horse looked very, very well. Who's that? Blue Ventura? That's exactly who it is. Very, very good in his last start. And then, as of right now, our lone starter for Monday is Gaslight Hall. Also, up into the non-winners of 3. He's 8-1, but James believes, obviously, he picked him, so he believes he can do in there. He just need to give him a better steer. I didn't think his steer was bad last week, actually. He was a little harder on himself than I thought he should be, which I don't say very often. But I just thought that I didn't think he raced the horse bad. Is that Blue Ventura?
Blue Ventura.
Okay. Looks good too. Happy with what I see so far today. So that's what's going on this week. What I am going to do later on this afternoon, just so everybody knows where I sit on the horses. The babies went the other day. We're starting to turn the corner into the summer. I'm going to give you a little idea of what I think so far of what I've seen. Lots to talk about in regards to a horse of like Rose Run Bobby, as opposed to a horse like Highest Honors, right? I'm going to give you a real look at my feelings of how the babies went the other day, where they're at, what we're going to do to rectify something like Rose Run Bobby, and then we'll go forward from there. So, a little update in the morning, a little longer than I thought it would be, actually. But a little update. Would have been a tremendous day if I could have reported a first or second with Arrowhead Hanover and, you know, grab a bone with Momento Mory, and then have Woodmere Betcha look like a beast in Truro, then have Captain Incredible and Rose and Grand Slam Deal look so good at the Meadows. Would have been a perfect day. Instead, it was just an okay day. So, we, as always, will endeavor to do better. For today, I think Manhattan Money's in a little snug, right? No, 9-2. 9-2. Post 8 isn't a big deal for him. I'm not too worried about post 8. That, I believe, is the creatine call. Yeah, for sure it is. I don't have to ask. Happy with what I've seen so far today. Anyway, we're having a decent week. I don't want to. I just trying to feel a little more uplifting, and I'm still a little frustrated over yesterday. But that's racing. I should be frustrated, right? I should be. So today's a new day. It's going to be a good weekend ahead for us. It's been a great start so far to May. The summer's close and on its way. The babies are looking good. The 3-year-olds are starting to shine a little bit. And I've been very happy overall, as I suppose and hope you are as well. So with that, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to start my day now at 8:17 in the morning. I got a number of 2-year-olds to go with, and I suspect by the urgency in Amy's wave towards me that I have one lined up right now. Take care. Have a wonderful day. The weather's going to be great today. I hope it's great wherever you are. I will talk to you all very soon.